You ever walk through a forest and get that feeling, that you're being watched? Well, today we're diving deep into the ancient woods of Slavic folklore to meet the spirit who might just be the one watching back. Let's talk about the Leshy.
It's a pretty intense question, right? Long before we were talking about climate change or conservation, these ancient stories were already asking what happens when people push nature too far. And their answer? Well, it wasn't some scientific report. It was a creature of bark and leaf, a spirit born from the forest's own need to protect itself. So, who exactly is this mysterious guardian of the wild?
Okay, so the Leshy isn't your typical monster or fairy tale villain. Think of it more like a fundamental force of nature. It's almost like an immune system for the wilderness, and its entire job is to protect the woods and, get this, test the hearts of anyone who dares to walk in. So imagine you run into this figure who looks, well, almost human, but his skin is rough, like tree bark, and his hair and beard look like they're woven from moss. But here's the detail that would really give you chills. Where his shadow is supposed to be, there's just nothing. It's this perfect, creepy reminder that this being is not from our world. And this is what makes the Leshy so cool. It's not actually evil. It's totally neutral. It's like a mirror that just reflects your own intentions back at you. If you go into the forest with respect, hey, it might just guide you. But if you walk in with arrogance and greed, it becomes this terrifying trickster.
And the best way to really wrap your head around this spirit is through this ancient parable that kind of set the stage for its relationship with humanity. It's called the story of the first turning.
So, this story takes us way back to the early days, when humanity's axes first started biting into the ancient forests, and this new, dangerous idea was just starting to take hold: greed.
And our story is all about this lumberjack, a guy named Ivan. For him, the forest wasn't this, living, breathing place. Nope, it was just a pile of resources, something to be taken for profit. His intentions were not good.
And look, Ivan's actions weren't about survival. He wasn't some poor guy just trying to feed his family. He actually got a kick out of the destruction. Snapping young trees for no reason, scaring animals for fun. He was just carelessly, arrogantly wrecking the natural order.
And his disrespect was so loud, so jarring, that the untamed spirit of the wild itself was basically forced to evolve. It took on a form, a consciousness, and it was designed for one specific reason: to teach Ivan and all of humanity a lesson.
And that lesson, well, it's the heart of our story. Ivan is about to face a trial that was dreamed up by the forest itself.
The Leshy's first appearance is just pure psychological chaos. It shows up in front of Ivan as this terrifying giant, as tall as the oldest trees, and then, in a blink, it shrinks down to the size of a little mushroom. See, this isn't just a magic trick, it's a message. The rules of your world mean nothing here.
But Ivan, in his total arrogance, what does he do? He just laughs. He writes off this incredible, supernatural event as a trick of the light. And right there, in that moment, he completely seals his fate. The Leshy's punishment is so clever. It doesn't just use brute force, it turns the entire forest into a weapon against him. Paths that should lead out just loop back on themselves. He hears the voice of his own wife on the wind, luring him deeper and deeper into dangerous marshes. It's a personal, terrifying kind of torment.
For 3 solid days, Ivan is trapped in this nightmare. He's totally stripped of his arrogance, and he's left hungry, cold, and just absolutely terrified. The forest is literally breaking him down, forcing him to face how powerless he really is.
So finally, when he's at his breaking point, Ivan remembers this old piece of folk magic. He takes his coat off and puts it on inside out. He switches his shoes to the wrong feet. Now this isn't random. He's symbolically mirroring the Leshy's own chaotic backward world. It's a desperate act of surrender. It's a sign that he finally gets it.
And only then, only when Ivan's pride is completely shattered, does the Leshy appear again. This time, it looks like a calm old man, and its voice, which sounds like rustling leaves, delivers the core lesson of the whole story.
As the Leshy guides Ivan back to safety, it gives him one last, chilling warning. This wasn't just a one-time thing. The forest is always watching, and from now on, these rules apply forever.
But Ivan's lesson didn't just end with him. His horrible experience became the very foundation for a whole new relationship between his people and the woods.
Ivan's story spread like wildfire, you can imagine, and a new tradition was born. People started leaving little offerings, like bread and salt at the edge of the forest. And it wasn't just out of fear. It was a sign of respect, like a payment for what they took. It was an acknowledgement of the forest's powerful guardian. And just like that, a simple, but really powerful law of the wild was set. The Leshy became this living symbol of nature's balance. Your intentions directly determine what happens to you in its domain. Show reverence, and you get guidance and safety. Show greed, and you get terror and lost forever.
So in the end, the Leshy is so much more than just some scary creature from folklore. It's a powerful idea. It's the personification of nature's defense system, a timeless metaphor for the idea that the natural world needs balance and will always, always push back when humanity gets too greedy.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? The Leshy was born from a time when our impact on the world was just beginning. Now, as we face these huge ecological challenges, what moral guardians, what modern-day Leshies are we creating in our own stories to teach us these same vital lessons about respect and balance? Definitely something to think about.